Hello, brothers and sisters in YouTube family. Hope you guys are being blessed. I want to continue the message regarding prayer and intimacy with Jesus and prayer. As I said before, there's quite a few people who have the notion of just not really knowing what to say in prayer, not really knowing how to talk to God. And, a lot of times we forget as though, just conversating, just talking to him as you talk to a friend. This message that I wanted to share today is actually from a ministry the Lord led me to. And so many times we forget how ever present Jesus is. And his word, he says that unless we become like little children, we cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. And so, as I said before, prayer is entering to the gates of heaven. So we have to become like little children. And as we become like little children, sometimes it's okay for prayers to be like little children, as a child will tell father, or as you would just a best friend. He desires to just conversate with us. That's what intimacy is. You're conversating with someone with deep, deep relationship. It's just not to a distant God, because he's not a distant God. He's so ever present. He's with us every single moment, every single second of every single day. He knows what you went through immediately when you woke up in the morning, even when you were sleeping, your thoughts, what you were dealing with. What conversation you had with your friend, the fight that you got with your husband, what you thought about your children, this event that you want to go to. He knows about all these things, and guess what? He desires to be a part of your every single detail, every single part of your life. He desires that. And so if we come to him as we would as a child, humbling ourselves as a child, and come to him as a father, letting him know, what we're struggling with, or what issues that we're having, or what he desires, what we desire for him to do to us, that he's able to open up. And I feel so many times with intimacy with prayer, a lot of times what stops us with intimacy with Jesus is fear. It's fear of not feeling worthy, fear of your past, fear of even what you're dealing with right now. Fear as if you're not good enough. The Lord is going to look at you a certain way. He's angry at you. And that's such a lie from the enemy. When Jesus looks at us, he looks at us with his perspective. He looks at us as the children that he created us to be. And so many times we want to feel as if, we messed up so bad, or we're still dealing with certain sin, we're still having some type of bondage, so I can't speak to him. That doesn't matter to him. He desires for you to come to his presence. His arms are always open wide to every single one of his children. Just come to him. Come to him and allow him to know your struggles and what you're dealing with, and allow him then to come into your life and help you with those struggles as well. Don't keep it to yourself. And just think about it as you would just a friend. So many times if you think about our relationship with the Lord is not one-sided. You don't pray to a God that, like I said, is distant, that doesn't hear, and you just walk away. But it's about conversation. And so just as you would a friend, if you yearn for the Lord to speak to you, if you yearn for the Lord to open his heart out to you, then how then can he trust you with his heart if you can even trust him with yours? If you can trust him with your failings, if you can trust him with your struggles, if you can trust him with your failures, your fears, then how much more then can he open up and trust you with his heavenly mysteries? He wants every single one of his children to be entrusted with his heart, to be entrusted with his heavenly mysteries, to be entrusted with the work that he's put in us. And when he does that he desires for us to open up to him and just conversate with him, about every single detail. There's so many times in my life where, I've opened up to the Lord, and maybe just a whisper of my heart, something so small. A lot of times we think it's small, like, okay, maybe it's a certain outfit that I want, or maybe a certain book that I want, I desire. It's a whisper of my heart, and like a couple of days later, I'll be walking, or I'll go to a store, and right there it is. There's somebody actually blessed me with what I'm seeking. I'm asking. I won't say I sought the Lord for it, but somebody blessed me with a whisper of my heart, a desire of my heart from the Lord. And so it's just amazing. I'm like, man, Lord, I thought about that 2 days ago. And look at you blessing me with that. And he desires to be a part of every single detail of our lives and open up to. It's not just the big things that we want to seek him and ask him for, but he wants to be in an intimate relationship with you, an intimate friendship with you, and fellowship with you. And that's coming to him not only diligently, but come to him with an open heart, and with honesty and transparency, and just conversing with him about your desires, and what is on your heart, and what you're dealing with, your struggles. He desires to know all of these things because he knows it already. I know so many times I've heard the statement of some people who might say they don't pray as often, because he knows your thoughts already. He knows your thoughts are far off. So what's the point of saying it, but there's power in confessing the word. The Bible tells us that there's power in our tongue, there's power confessing the word. But most importantly is that He desires a relationship. It's not just a thought, just as you would come as a parent. Let's be honest, parents, so many times you can see your child and you know something's weighing on them heavily. They're burdened by something, they struggle with something, they've done something that you aren't even aware of, and you come before them and ask them, hey, is everything okay? And so many times as children, to our parents, we're like, yeah, everything's fine. And we know that we're burdened by it. And a lot of times we don't realize how it hurts our parents. A lot of times, our parents might walk off like, wow, I mean, they don't feel, they can't trust me with what they're going through. They can't really come to me. Like, I desire to help them. So that's how it is with Jesus. When we come to Him in His presence, He knows everything. He knows your thoughts. He knew what you were thinking with that situation that happened, that got you upset, that you want to bring up to His presence. He knows what you're thinking when you saw that handsome young guy or handsome young lady and you're desiring them. He knows all these things. And yet, so when we come before His presence, He's like, my child, what is on your heart? What are your struggles? Is everything okay? And we're like, yeah, Lord, it's fine. Lord, please give me this. Please give me that. I desire this. And then walk away. And Lord's like, man, I just see you struggling in your heart with something. Like, why don't you just, surrender it to me? Come to me. Talk to me about it. I desire to help you. Allow me to help you. But once again, He gives us that free will for us to give to Him, to surrender to Him. And so I hope this message really blesses you, and I pray that as I read this, that you hear the voice of God. You don't hear my voice. And I pray that fervently before I begin this message, that you'd hear the voice of God through this conversation, because He desires to converse with you every single day about every single thing in your life. And so I hope this truly blesses you. And as I said before, this is just a conversational, a talk that the Lord wants to have with you as His child, as His children. And so it begins. It is not necessary, my child, to know much in order to please me. It is enough that you love me fervently. Speak here to me then, as you would speak to your most intimate friend, to your mother, to your brother. So you want me to do something for someone. Tell me his or her name. Is it your parent? Is it your brother? Is it your friend? Tell me what you want me to do for them now. Ask much, very much. Do not hesitate to ask. I love generous hearts who somehow can come to forget themselves, to look after the needs of others. Speak sincerely to me then, of the poor you want to console, of the sick you see suffering, or the strayed one you yearn to see return to the right path, or of those absent friends you want at your side again. Say at least one word for each, the ardent word of a friend. Remind me that I have promised to listen to every petition that rises up from your heart. Is not a prayer for those whom your heart especially loves such a prayer? And for you, do you need a particular favor? Make a list, as it were, of your needs, and come and read it in my presence. Tell me frankly that you are prone to anger, that you love sensuality and pleasure, that you are perhaps proud, variable, negligent. Ask me to come to help of those efforts, many or few, which you undertake to free yourself from these faults. Do not be ashamed, poor soul. There are in heaven so many saints who had these same defects, but they prayed humbly, and little by little they saw themselves freed from them. Do not hesitate to ask me for spiritual and material goods, for health, memory, success in your work, enterprise, and studies. All these I can give and do give, as long as they don't hinder, but rather assist in your sanctification. Precisely today, what do you need? What can I do for you? Oh, if only you knew how much I want to help you. Do you have right now some project in mind? Tell me everything in detail. What preoccupies you? What are you thinking? What do you want? What do you want me to do for your parents, your brothers, your children, your superiors? What do you want me to do for them? And for me, do you feel attraction for my glory? Do you not want me to do something for those friends whom you love so much, but perhaps live separated from me? Tell me, what in particular attracts your attention today? What you desire most ardently, and what means you have of obtaining it? Tell me if your plans are not working. I will tell you the cause of your difficulties. Do you not want to interest me in your request? My dear one, I am the Lord of hearts, and I move them without violating their freedom, to whatever I please. Are you perhaps sad or in bad humor? Tell me, tell me, tell me, you inconsolable soul. Tell me your sorrows in all their detail. Who wounded you? Come close to my heart. Find in it a refreshing balsam for the wounds in yours. Then you will confess that, like me, you forgive everything. You forget everything. In appreciation you will receive my consoling benediction. Are you perhaps afraid? Do you feel in your soul those vague stirrings of sadness, which, however unjustified, can be tearing? Throw yourself in the arms of my providence. I am with you. I am at your side. I see everything. I hear everything. I shall not abandon you, not for one moment. Do you feel ignored by persons who loved you once, but who now have forgotten you without cause? Pray for them. I will bring them back to you if they are not obstacles to your salvation. And don't you have perhaps some joy to communicate to me? Why don't you let me share with you like a friend? Tell me what has consoled or gladdened your heart since yesterday, since you last visited me. Perhaps you have an agreeable surprise. Perhaps you've seen grave doubts. Or perhaps your doubts have actually been dissipated. Or you received good news, a letter, or perhaps a gesture of love. Maybe you have overcome some difficulty, or come out of a trying situation. All of this is my work. I have obtained this for you. Why not show me your gratitude and say like a child to his father, "Thank you, Father, thank you." Gratitude brings forth new gifts, since benefactors, as you know, like to see themselves appreciated. Do you not have a promise to make me? I read, you know, the bottom of hearts. Men are easily deceived, but not God. Speak to me then, honestly. Do you have a firm intention of avoiding this occasion of sin, or denying yourself the object that harmed your soul, or not reading again that book which excited your imagination, or of avoiding that person who disturbed the peace of your soul? Will you be kind to that person because he offended you, that you have regarded as an enemy? And now, my child, return to your work, to your office, to your family, to your studies. But do not forget these 15 minutes of intimate conversation we have had in the privacy of the sanctuary. Keep as much as possible silent, resignation, modesty, charity towards your neighbors. And please come again tomorrow with even more fervent heart to unite to mine. And in it you will find every day new love, new gifts, new consolations. Here I wait you. Jesus.